Alright, so today I want to bring you my full masterclass on content strategy. I hear a lot of people asking me what kind of strategies are you using for social media and for content. So I want to bring a full strategy to you today and give you my full breakdown of my whole framework for every piece of content I put out. So who am I? I'm Zach Bordeaux. I'm a video growth partner. I've been in the game for about 4 years now. I've been able to get over 17 million views from my clients on videos, on specifically with TikTok. I have 40K followers on my own TikTok account, and I've been able to turn my videos into multi-six-figure income for my clients and for my team as well. So today I want to talk through all my strategies. So that includes every social media platform. This is going to be scalable depending on how big your actual company is and what kind of content you're able to put out. But the first thing I want to talk about is Twitter. So Twitter is very important, right? You have to be documenting your thoughts on Twitter and not actually trying to think up posts. I use Twitter to write down anything I think of. So when I'm reading through a book, for example, I go through and jot down notes inside of that book, and then I take all of those notes, I put them into my notes app on my phone, and then I post those to Twitter, right? I find information that I think is valuable, and then I share it out with the world because I know that if I find it valuable, they'll probably find it valuable too. Then you can compare and see which posts actually perform well and make more content around that topic. So Hype Fury and Tweet Hunter are two of the big schedulers. I really like Hype Fury. I have not tried Tweet Hunter, but I've heard a lot of people say that it's incredible. The one thing that I like about it is that it spaces out your tweets, right? So you can go through and post, say, 10 things, just throw them all into the queue, and then it'll automatically space them out so not everything's coming out all at once. And then what the platform is going to punish you for is if you put out like 30 pieces of content and then you put out like no content. That's what the platform's going to actually punish you for. And the one good thing that I like about Twitter is there's not really a limit to how many times you can post a day. Some of these platforms, they're not gonna favor you posting, like for Instagram, for instance, they don't want you to be posting 5 times a day. They want you to be posting once a day or 4 times a week or whatever it is at the current moment. You want to be testing your posts. When you post them to Twitter, test out and see how they actually perform there. You want to go in and post a bunch of stuff. If something doesn't perform well, it's probably not something you want to continue to make content about. If it does perform well, you want to continue to make content about it. So the next thing is repurposing, right? The easiest way to get content for a lot of social media platforms all at once is repurposing. There's 2 ways that you can do social media strategy. You can either go in and then expand and go really far in on one platform and then go to different platforms, or you can go on all platforms and then expand that way. I like to go on all platforms and be all right at all platforms and try to manage them all at once. Not everybody can do that, but I can, and I found that it works really well for me. So some of the things you can do with repurposing is you can take your single tweets and turn them into reels. You can take good posts on Twitter and turn them into LinkedIn posts. You can take threads from Twitter and put them into a long form video if it performs well, if a thread performs well. Take that concept and put it as a video script for your long form sales assets. For YouTube videos, you can turn those into blog posts. For YouTube clips, you can turn those into reels. So that's like a podcast. For example, from a podcast, you can take clips and shorts. So that's going to be very helpful in helping you grow because you can have some long form assets and then also some shorts to get people in. Kind of the goal of shorts is to have eyes on you. The goal of a short is to get as many views as possible. The goal of a clip or a longer form piece of content is to actually nurture your audience into paying customers. So long form videos, there's a format to this. The format that I've found that works really good, I used to just call it the hook and bullet, but I've gotten even more specific on how I actually format my long form videos. First, I start off with a hook. You want to hook the viewer in. In this video, I told you that I was going to teach you all about content and all of my full framework for my content. That's what you want to do. You want to hook somebody in with something that's very engaging. And an easy way to hook people in is with a story. So if you tell a story right at the beginning and right at the end, you're going to be golden because people are going to relate to you and see that you're a real character versus just another NPC or non-playable character like in a video game. Next, we have our framework. So this is where we're actually going to lay out the value. In this case, I have multiple frameworks. So that's why I said down here that you might have to repeat this over and over. I have multiple frameworks throughout this video, right? Each slide has this framework in it, kind of. It's not full because this is more of a webinar style video, but the framework is going to be the actual knowledge. So in this case, the framework is going to be the hook, story, framework, explanation, CTA, right? The next thing that you want to do after your framework is add in an explanation. So explain why this framework works. Explain why the story relates to the framework. Give an explanation of how you do something or why you do something, and that's going to be golden. Then last but not least, on long form videos, make sure you add in a call to action. For example, a call to action might be me telling you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and yes, you should probably go do that, or share the video. And having those call to actions are going to make people actually engage with you and actually want to follow you. So short form video format's very similar, but here there's going to be a little bit more of a humor element, and also it's going to be under 60 seconds. So the long form video, if you're making a long form video for YouTube, it's going to be anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes, works really well. And then also those longer videos that are like 18 to 25 minutes work really well as well. Those videos are going to be more of your whiteboard style videos, and we'll get into the types of content in a minute. But short form video should work very similar. You're going to have a hook, something to engage people, so humor, an example, so an example of where that scenario came into place. Then you're going to have an explanation. So again, the same thing as the long form, you're going to have an explanation. And then you're not going to have a call to action on shorts typically, because it's going to lower your watch time. So watch time is the most important metric on the YouTube algorithm or any sort of algorithm, because they want you to stay on the platform. So if you're thinking Instagram, right, the more you scroll, the more ads you're going to see. The platform wants you to keep people engaged and keep people on the platform, and they're going to share your content out more if you keep people glued to their screen. Watch time, again, it's the most important metric. So you have to make your videos engaging. That's why these videos where you're just making them yourselves often don't work, because the videos are just not engaging enough. Call to actions, let's talk a little bit more about it and go a little bit more in depth. Word of mouth is, from a marketing standpoint, the most effective form of marketing. It might not be the most scalable, but it's definitely the most effective because you're putting your name on the line. It has the lowest effort at the start for your call to actions. So you should have a very low effort call to action at the start. That's going to be something like subscribe or go and check out something on this channel. Very low effort. Midway through is going to be your free but higher effort. So this is going to be something like go connect with me on LinkedIn, or go grab my free resource, go grab my lead magnet in the funnel. And then your bigger thing is going to really be your lead magnet or push to a funnel where people are going to buy something. So people are going to go into your funnel in this bigger lead magnet at the end. So what I'll say here is, if you found this video valuable so far, pause this video right now, go subscribe to my channel, and then come back. And that right there is an example of a call to action. So that's serious. You should go do that. So repurposing guidelines, right? A lot of people screw up repurposing because they use the same video on multiple platforms and it's the exact same and they don't change anything. I do this too sometimes, but not always. I really do believe that being able to repurpose your content to fit the page is very, very crucial to your growth. You don't want to have any sort of watermarks, especially like if you're posting a YouTube short, you don't want to have a TikTok watermark. That's going to kill your engagement. They have algorithms that scan for that stuff. Same thing on Instagram Reels. You don't want to have any sort of watermarks. Thumbnails. It's crucial that you have very, very, very engaging thumbnails. As you can see here, this is a thumbnail that I did that's very engaging, that makes people interested. The thumbnails that you're making on Canva just aren't going to do it anymore. You need to have a thumbnail designer, and I have a thumbnail designer. It's relatively cheap and it's very, very effective for me. The thumbnail and the title are the two things that people on YouTube are going to look at when they're coming to your channel. So it's very, very important that you have thumbnails. And also sizing. On LinkedIn, you're going to want to have a different size than on Instagram, right? On Instagram, you're going to want to have a 9:16 video on that platform. It's going to be the same thing like on TikTok. Now, if you're posting an Instagram post, you don't want to have that same format. You want to have a 3:4, so 3 at the top and 4 down. And we'll get into that a little bit more in the future. But my big point here is make sure you don't have any watermarks and make sure your content is repurposed for that platform. Don't just post the same video, because again, the platforms have algorithms that check for that kind of stuff. So distributions. So this is going to be one of the more important parts of your content, is to actually getting eyes on your content. You want to be able to distribute more content from the same content. So what does that mean? That means you want to be able to put out more content from the same thing that you've already recorded. And again, that just comes down to repurposing. The more content you get, the more growth you will have. However, if it decreases the quality of your content, it's going to be a little bit less, because everybody needs quality. Don't post anything unless it's quality. So create more content up to that point where your quality starts to drop off, and then stop creating more content and focus on the quality. Then once you get that down, you're able to make more content and get more growth. The real question that a lot of people ask is, why should I listen to you? I want you to write that question down. Grab a notebook, grab a sticky note, whatever it is. Write that question down and find the answer. Why are you special, different, or the one? And this all comes down to branding. Branding is crucial. If you haven't written a positioning statement, it's very, very crucial, because you need to know who are your people, what do they need, who are you, what do you deliver, and why are you special, different, or the one? If you can't answer those 5 questions, you're never going to be able to make it on social media. The other big thing is that you need to have credibility, right? You need to have profile branding. So this means having an engagement engaging bio, having a good headline on LinkedIn, right? Having good profile picture and banner images. Those kind of things are very, very important when it comes to social media. The next thing is case studies and testimonials. Highly recommend putting results. Twitter does extremely well when you post results like that. I don't know why, but Twitter just likes that kind of post. So gatekeeping. We don't want to gatekeep information. That's a killer of most people's content. You want to give away all your secrets for free. However, you want to sell the implementation of those secrets, right? So I'm telling you my full content framework, but what I'm going to sell off of this to my people in Optimize Oasis, which is my group that you should totally go check out, is the implementation of these strategies, right? Give away the information and sell the implementation. So here's kind of the minimums. These are not things where you have to do all of this. You want to pick your platforms wisely. So for example, shorts can be posted in multiple places, but Twitter, you want to be posting 5 to 10 times a day. A tweet takes 5 seconds to create, right? Doesn't take long. LinkedIn and Twitter threads. So these are going to be kind of interchangeable where you can repurpose that content. You write a Twitter thread, you can post it on LinkedIn as well. I do one of those per week. Instagram photos. You definitely need to be posting 2 times a week. And these also apply to Facebook photos. Get 2 photos of the same thing, but of different angles. For example, you might have a photo of you doing a bicep curl and you get one that's up on your face and then one that's zoomed out more. You're going to want to post like 2 to 3 photos just like that are basically identical but a little bit different, whether they're from a different angle or a different exercise or something like that, and that's going to be really crucial to growing. Shorts. Short form content is king right now. Videos are super engaging, are going to be pushed more. So that's very important that you have short form content. Long form YouTube sales assets. So that's going to be a video like this or a video that's just a talking head video. And we'll get a little bit more into that in a minute, but at least 1 long form a week. I do 3 a week. It's definitely challenging, but it's worth it in the long run because it's going to help up build that credibility and the authority that you need to have to become a thought leader in your industry. So TikTok, again, that's going to be kind of similar to shorts, but TikTok likes a more raw sort of content, right? It doesn't need to be as engaging. It still needs to be valuable, but if you really want to do TikTok, you need to be posting a minimum of 3 times a day. When I grew my TikTok up to 40K, I was posting 5 to 8 times a day. So that sounds like a lot. It was a lot, and I wouldn't recommend you necessarily do that. But I also think that TikTok is very good for getting a ton of eyeballs on you, but it's not very good for actually growing a wealth stream. Stories. Instagram and Facebook both have stories, and now TikTok does too. So if you're going to do TikTok, you might as well post your stories there. It doesn't take that much extra effort. Stories you should be posting 3 to 8 times a day. This sounds like a lot. It's not that much. Again, these are like tweets. They only take a minute or 2 to create. And I'm going to go through some of the types of stories here in a minute. So here's all of your types of content that you're going to need, right? So photo posts, I've kind of broken this down into one thing, but some examples of photo posts that I might make is, and I forgot to include this one, but a headshot. Get as many headshots as possible. A nice dinner at the beach or the pool, action sports, that kind of stuff. The goal of photo posts is to look like a G. You want people to relate to you. You want people to think that you're cool. And that's the goal of photo posts. You want to include yourself in the photo, right? Don't just post a picture of your dinner. You want to have yourself in the photo. So get people to take photos for you. It's not that hard. Just do that. Stories, lifestyle, knowledge, talking head, and promos. I'm going to dive deeper into that in just a minute. So let's hold on to that thought. Long form video sales assets. There's going to be 3 types: whiteboard, talking head, and clips. This is an example of a whiteboard video and a talking head video. They're kind of interchanged. This is not necessarily a whiteboard, but it is a presentation style video, which is very similar to a whiteboard video. The only difference is with a whiteboard video, you basically have a whiteboard and you walk through steps. It's the same type of concept as this presentation, but it's a little bit different. Talking head is just going to be me directly talking to a camera, and a clip is going to be from a longer form video. So if I take this video and I just pull out this part right here talking about types of content, that's a clip. Also, if you were to do a podcast and you pulled out, a 5-minute clip, that's going to be another long form video sales asset. Now, the reason I refer to them as sales assets instead of videos is this is what you're actually going to be using as ammo when it comes to implementing setters and closers. Shorts. So again, shorts are king because they're super engaging and it's very easy to make this content. You have lifestyle shorts, storytime shorts, and transformational shorts, right? So those are the 3 types that we're generally looking at right now that perform really well. Lifestyle is going to be just a random sound with videos of you doing your daily activity. So it might be a motivational sound. It might be some sort of content like that. I have plenty of those on my YouTube channel that you can go check out if you want to, but generally that's what it's going to be. Storytime posts are going to be just talking about a story that happened to you. Telling a story. Storytelling is a huge way to relate to your audience and to get them to actually engage with you. Transformational. So this is going to be kind of our epiphany bridge framework. So we're going to look at the current state of our audience, the desired state of our audience, and then how we get there, how we've transformed from where we were to where we are now, and how people can use that same concept. And that's typically going to be the concept that you are selling. So in my case, if I'm selling video, people, their current state, you want to lay this out very, very clearly, but their current state might be they're having stress because they're not getting any views on their videos, and their desired state might be that they are getting tons of views, getting tons of leads, they're able to actually deliver an A-class service, that kind of stuff. Now you're going to tell them, okay, this is what actually bridges the gap to get them there. So that's going to be your transformational post. So stories. Again, we broke this up into lifestyle, knowledge, talking head, and promos. This pie chart here is kind of the percentage of what you should be posting. Knowledge posts are basically your tweets. If you're going to take a tweet and then you're going to post a lifestyle picture in the background and some text over top of it. Your lifestyle footage is just going to be a photo or a video of you doing something, whether that's a photo of my desk or a photo of, if I'm out on a jet ski, I might post a photo of jet ski. You want to try to have you in this, but it doesn't have to be you in this. Talking head is just going to be pull out your phone and talk directly to the camera about either a problem that you're facing or something that happened today, whatever you want to talk about. And then promos, obviously this is going to be 15%. So these are split into two. I even divided this a little bit more. Post promotions are going to be when you post a actual photo on your Instagram and then you post it up onto your stories. So that's going to be 5%. Promo stories are going to be 10%, so that's going to be where you're promoting your product versus promoting a post. How to take photos. First thing you want to do is get an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, it's 2023, I'm sorry, but you should have an iPhone. You want to use portrait mode. So portrait mode is going to help you to actually be able to get the highest quality photos. You want to have some decent lighting, so I usually use umbrella lights. You can use whatever you want. The candid shots are going to be really good. You don't always have to be smiling directly at the camera. Something from a side profile is usually pretty good. I have some great photos from when I was doing speaking engagements and stuff like that are candid shots like that. Lightroom for editing. So as you can see over here on the right, there is a full tutorial on how I edit my stuff in Lightroom. I turn down the exposure, I up the contrast a little bit, then I turn down the highlights and I turn up the saturation or the shadows slightly. Then I go ahead and I color it. So I color it typically blue a little bit. I don't always do blue, but typically I do. The next thing is I'm going to go over to effects and I'm going to, play around with the texture and the clarity. Typically I want the clarity to be around 10 to 15% or 10 to 15, units, and the texture I want to max it out typically. Then I might lower the exposure a little bit more depending on where I, see fit. But just play around with it a little bit and you'll be able to get this down in no time. So if you actually enjoyed this framework, I ask two things of you. I don't charge for this content. So I ask that you subscribe and then also that you tell a friend. If you have a like-minded friend or if you post this on social media, whatever you feel most comfortable with, I work off of word of mouth. So if I did good for you, I hope that you would do good for me back and return the favor. If you're interested in talking to me, feel free to hit me up. I will be happy to respond to any sort of messages or DMs that I get. You can email me at zach@dozerogdesigns.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notifications whenever I post, and I'll see you next time.